14th of January 25, and I'm just looking at this graph from Matt Goodwin, the great Matt Goodwin, who is fantastic. He's just got GB News. I've just given him a show 2 nights a week in place of Jacob Rees-Mogg, who had 4 nights. He's now got 2 nights, and I'm really glad because Jacob's all caricature. This is the real deal, so they've done really well here. They've got someone else. They've got Ben Leo as well, who's really good. And I think no, they haven't signed up someone else. My favourite stat person is Sam Bidwell, I would say, who knows all the loopholes for immigration and that. But Matt Goodwin's up there as well. So, yeah, and I'm just looking at this. So, watch Matt Goodwin's show on GB News every evening, around about 7 o'clock or something. No, 2 nights a week. So I just thought this was interesting. More Brits think there has been a cover-up on the beat gangs than incompetent investigation. And it's just interesting, I'm especially interested in the Greens. So 5% of the Greens think it was properly investigated by the authorities. 20% don't know, so that's the most. So 5% is about the same as the others, you know, same as the Tories, Lib Dems. Only Labour are a bit more. Labour are a bit more, and I'm wondering if that's maybe that community, or as they see themselves, the umbrella community, you know, because they're of the Labour. They're currently using the Labour as a Trojan horse until they can get their identity parties going. They've already got 4 MPs. Jeremy Corbyn's not going to join them when they create a new party. And so only Reform will get less than that at 2%. So, and then on don't know, the Greens 20%. The others are still sort of the same. Labour on 15, Lib Dem 11, Reform on 7, and Conservative on 6. And then poorly investigated by the authorities as a result of incompetence or lack of resources. So this is to do with which of the following comes closest to your view. The activities of blah blah gangs in places like Rochdale were. And so we're on don't know now, the yellow one. So the Greens, that's fair enough, 52. Next is Labour on 42. So this is poorly investigated. So I'm guessing that's traditional Labour voters mostly, I don't know. Lib Dems on 41, Conservatives 34, 20. So that's people just think it was incompetence really. I thought that at first, but I would probably vote red on this as well to get the message across. Because although it was definitely poorly investigated, incompetence probably played a big role. Also, it does look like out of fear of being called the R word or, you know, that's fair enough. I think that makes sense. Because being called the R word in this society that we've created is like the Stasi police come in as you've finished in your career and stuff. So that was true, and all I needed was somebody to call you that. You may be in real trouble, you know, because British natives navel gaze about this. They have sleepless nights about it. Oh, I hope I don't. Whereas we don't know if the newcomers will worry about that, you know. We don't know if they'll, on a spectrum of the newcomers, worry the same as natives about it, or they don't give a hoot about being called the R word, you know. I mean, we've just had a poll in Pakistan that Pakistan's brought in a sort of foreign illegals bill in 2023 where they're basically going to remove everyone who's illegally in the country, and it's human rights charities of the left persuasion would tell you that they're trying to clear out Afghans, mostly Afghans. So they're sending them back to Taliban, Afghanistan, whereas in Britain about 99%, probably 99.9%, Afghans who come here will be given British citizenship by our government on our behalf, on the voters' behalf. Whereas Pakistan seems to be clearing them all out. And in a Gallup poll, I think it was of last March or something, so this is since 2023, so far they've cleared out 500,000 people back to Afghanistan. It's as if they're going to clear out another million and a half or something. And how do Pakistanis feel about it? Well, according to a Gallup poll, 84% are in favour of it. So whereas here in Britain, we're stressing at night. Policemen or police people are probably stressed at night. I hope I don't get called the R word, and councillors and all that. And of course, there might be council people, elected councillors, who are trying to help cover up for it as well, deliberately. We don't know. So I just thought this was interesting. So out of the ones in red, I think it's a deliberate cover up. Obviously, Reform at 71, Conservatives at 55, Labour at 35, pretty low. Lib Dems 43. So, and the Greens at 24. So I'm still surprised that 24% of Greens think it's a cover up of some sort. So what's it saying? Deliberately covered up or overlooked by authorities, scared of being called racist, or inflaming community tensions. See, these questions are always pretty led, because I would also add to that, or deliberately covered up, because there might be councillors. I've heard of situations. There was one guy the police done a deal with if he handed over some girl. I don't understand what was going on. Some native girl, underage. I don't really understand it myself. Charlie Peters done a documentary about it on GB News last year or 2 years ago. You can see it on the YouTube channel. They just repeated it over the new year. You can see it on the YouTube channel. GB News has been a godsend to us. Yeah, so I just wanted to point that out. I just thought it was interesting. And here's what people have been commenting. So that's just something to look at. Matt Goodwin does great stuff. I prefer Sam Bidwell's explanations on this issue. But Matt Goodwin's top rate. I mean, if you Mark's out 100, Matt's 90, Sam's 98, I don't know. Rafi Heidelmanku's excellent as well, he's 98. I mean, I'd be alright to let Raf speak on my behalf, although I prefer speaking on my own behalf. Although the Stasi police, I do have a Stasi police. Although that's starting to crumble a bit now, isn't it, really? I mean, Keir Starmer in November. In August, they made a speech where he called the Rotherham native Labour voters of all ages, mothers and fathers and children and daughters, who were all there at those sort of riots at the centres that they've put in Rotherham, at the centre, the hotel actually. He called them busting far right. He did sack his advisor Sue Gray a month or two after that, who was meant to be Boris called great during the COVID thing. I don't actually know if she was any good. I mean, you can't tell, and now he's got another guy called Mick. I don't know, but whatever. I don't know why he made that speech about. It was so off key, because nobody believed it. For a start, he said it was busting far right, whoever far right are. He said EDL, who have been disbanded for 10 years. So, and he said that people who have inflamed the situation can expect, he's going to put emergency Stasi laws in, and they'll probably be jailed. Personally, I would say he was the biggest inflamer of the lot, because he said the EDL, who have been disbanded for 10 years. I mean, a guy recently got jailed for having a fake Kalashnikov in a video saying, "Where are the EDL?" This was a British man. You've got to, you'll need to guess yourself what type of British man. But he was jailed, and he was saying, "Where's the EDL? Where did he get that idea from?" because I've been disbanded 10 years. Yeah, so, and then in November, he went from that, he got a new guy called Mick. I don't know if this had anything to do with his decision, but in November he said it was an open border experiment, so he's allowed us to start using that term. And to me, it was the best speech on the subject since 1968. But I say to everyone there, vote reform is a protest vote. You have no choice. Vote reform or further right, as they call it. And actually, the SDP and the Workers' Party, or really George Galloway's party, are better on this issue than Reform, who are too wimpish on it. I think in 5 or 10 years' time, native females who are part of the Socialist Workers' Party or the Greens will be saying, Nigel, you're far too soft on this issue, because they'll be hysterical in 5 or 10 years' time. I think. I mean, you can't take the other. If you think it's going to be a utopia, you know, that's fine. You have nothing to worry about. But if you think it's looking as if it's going to be anarchy, you'll need to keep that to yourself. But I think female native green voters might be hysterical in 5 or 10 years. Cologne 2016 New Year's Day comes to mind, you know. But yeah. Anyway, Keir made that speech, but you can't vote Labour. You've got to abandon them as quick as possible. And the Greens and SNP. Vote Reform as a protest vote, even though they're too soft. Just to do an Overton window shift. And to make one issue unacceptable, to have a stance that doesn't include a freeze. And in 10 years' time, I think native female green voters will say a freeze isn't enough, you know, but a freeze is a good start anyway. So yeah, that's my